My sibling forwarded me a list of wedding presents, requesting a vehicle, a flat, and luxury purses. I informed her I wouldn't purchase any of those. She lost her temper and yelled, "Then don't bother attending." So I stayed away. And the events that followed led to the whole clan holding her accountable. Hello, Reddit. I'm Mia, 29F, and I want to begin by noting that I truly care for my relatives. I genuinely do. However, affection alone falls short when a person's arrogance dominates and they begin viewing you as their private cash machine. My junior sister, Tia, 26F, is tying the knot next month. Wonderful for her. She's forever been the favored kid, the attractive one, the one who escaped punishment for anything, the one our parents fussed over as if she were crafted from precious silk. I was the dependable kin, accountable, unexciting, and evidently wealthy enough to assist. I have a job in banking. I've succeeded in my career, but I maintain a simple lifestyle. I put money away, I budget, I own a 6-year-old eco-friendly car, and I shop at discount stores more often than high-end brands. But to my kinfolk, I'm essentially like a billionaire mogul. Several weeks back, I received an email from Tia headed my wedding present suggestions, excited. I assumed nice, likely a charming registry URL. No, it was a document file attached, with listed items and costs. Page 1 Wedding Present Concepts Must-Haves. 1. A vehicle, ideally a fresh Mercedes or Lexus. No bright colors. 2. A deposit for a 2-room condo, $75K should suffice, not in a rough area. 3. High-end accessories, at least 3 handbags, Hermes, Dior, Prada. No knockoffs, thanks. 4. And if you're extra kind, perhaps pay for the vacation airfare. Initially, I believed she was kidding. I answered with funny, good effort. I'll get you a quality coffee maker or a stand mixer, choose one. She didn't find it amusing. She messaged me in uppercase letters, "This is serious. You earn a high salary, don't act stingy." I explained to her composedly that I wasn't planning to expend over $100K on her marriage present, and that I considered the list highly presumptuous. She erupted. She labeled me resentful, envious, and declared, "Okay, then skip the wedding altogether if you'll arrive without gifts." I answered with one brief sentence. Understood, I skipped it. And the aftermath threw the entire household into total disarray. I didn't reply following her, "Then don't attend," outburst. I didn't dispatch a present. I didn't even confirm attendance. I assumed Tia would relax, regain her composure, and perhaps understand how utterly unsuitable it was to anticipate a property deposit and a premium automobile as a present. Surprise, she didn't. The ceremony proceeded as scheduled at an opulent orchard location with a flower expenditure that could have sustained a tiny nation. I remained absent. I relaxed at home, got takeout seafood, and marathoned a true crime show. Truly among the calmest weekends I've experienced in ages. But during the wedding day, my device began notifying. First, a message from my relative Emma. "Hey, are you actually missing? Tia seems furious." Then one from my uncle. "You all right? Folks are murmuring about you." Evidently, Tia had set aside a prime seat with a label stating sister of the bride and created a major theatrical display regarding the vacant chair. During her address, she stated, and this was recorded on film, "Certain individuals opted not to back our partnership today since they were overly concerned with finances rather than affection." The audience reacted in shock. Actually shocked. And that's where it rebounded negatively. Because Tia had previously boasted about the present list to various attendees. She believed folks would admire it as though requesting a vehicle and a residence was inspirational. But rather, it offended everybody. Particularly because she had publicly ridiculed me for being miserly for refusing to fund her whole home. My relative forwarded me a clip of my Aunt Clara amid the meal, declaring boldly, "I would have boycotted as well if somebody viewed me as a cash dispenser. She's not a sibling, she's a pampered child." Attendees began murmuring. One of the best men, who reportedly had consumed several beverages, raised a glass in his toast and remarked, "Cheers to not mixing romance with extravagance. Not everybody has to purchase entry into a union." Ouch. Following the occasion, family discussions ignited. Some defended me. Others were angry I absented myself. And then, suddenly, my mother phoned me irate. "You shamed her. You caused her to appear deserted on her special occasion." I responded serenely. She instructed me not to attend. She shouted it, in fact, and you endorsed that. Quiet. That evening, Tia dispatched a lengthy 3-section message, claiming I had spoiled her marriage vibe, that I had disgraced the kin, and that I shouldn't anticipate anything from her henceforth. I answered, "Agreed." The following day, my father messaged me confidentially. Just so you know, I believe you made the correct choice. That single phrase, it valued more to me than any ceremony invitation possibly could. Roughly a week post the marriage fiasco, matters were strangely hushed. No fresh angry messages from Tia, no manipulative calls from Mother, simply no communication, until social media occurred. Tia, true to form, had to showcase her post-wedding trip, an upscale journey to Spain and France. The descriptions were all #fortunate and #eternal partner, with those edited, heavily enhanced images of sea vistas and luxury accommodations. But what caught attention, the responses. They began pleasant and encouraging, then shifted. One individual inquired, "Weren't you mentioning your sibling funding this?" Another commented, "Kind of uncomfortable boasting when you openly requested a vehicle and home as marriage presents, haha." And then somebody, praised their cheeky spirit, captured the genuine document list Tia had distributed, the one with the vehicle and residence requests, and shared it in the responses. It went viral. Folks from our broader network, colleagues, former schoolmates, even remote relatives began circulating the update. In mere hours, Tia limited her responses and set her profile to restricted. The newlywed who desired global jealousy now couldn't update without facing ridicule. I didn't respond. I didn't engage with anything. But I observed it all develop silently, drinking tea. Then the messages resumed, from my mom. "She's crushed, everybody is ridiculing her. You should have simply ignored it." From my aunt, "She brought this on herself, she's no longer a kid." And from Tia directly, "I trust you're satisfied. You shamed me doubly, first by skipping, then by allowing everyone to criticize me." I held back initially, but as I reviewed her notes, I understood she hadn't grasped anything yet. She still viewed me as the issue. So I transmitted one last note. "Tia, I didn't circulate that list. I didn't issue those requests. I didn't share anything. I remained silent as you demanded, the sole individual accountable for how others perceive you as yourself." No answer, but several days on, my relative forwarded me a capture of Tia's social media profile. She had revised it to, "Critics will criticize, true supporters understand the facts." Of course. 3 weeks post the ceremony, my grandma organized her yearly warm season gathering, a long-standing family custom. It wasn't merely close kin, but extended cousins, elderly aunts, even some of Grandma's community pals. Essentially, the single gathering where all appeared, donned their joyful kin masks, and acted as if everything was okay. I hadn't intended to attend, but Grandma contacted me directly. "You needn't linger, dear, but I'd adore seeing you." Kindly, so I attended. I dressed in a relaxed summer outfit, carried a self-made dessert, grinned courteously, and in under 10 minutes Tia arrived dramatically. Adorned in upscale brands, large shades still worn inside, and her fresh spouse trailing after her like a confused pup. She entered as if on a premiere walkway and clearly stiffened the instant she spotted me. Her grin wavered. She fixed her shades, then murmured to Mother. The atmosphere changed. You sensed it, but Grandma was thrilled to greet me. She presented me to several visitors as my resilient, intelligent grandchild, the one who truly contributes treats and not conflict. Tia overheard it. All did. The strain built until the meal commenced. Folks attempted casual chatter, but interest brewed underneath. The marriage turmoil, the social media mayhem, the present list scandal. Then it occurred. My junior relative Anna, praise her candid, youthful spirit, exclaimed at the gathering. "Tia, did you actually request Mia to get you a vehicle and a flat for your marriage?" Utensils halted. Discussions ceased abruptly. Tia's expression shifted to the shade of berry beverage. "That's a personal kin issue." But Anna continued. "It was a document, though, and you labeled her miserly and said she wasn't welcome. We all viewed the captures. Folks are still chuckling over it on video apps." I gazed at my dish, attempting not to grin. Tia's spouse emitted a tiny, anxious chuckle. Poor choice. Tia pivoted to him and snapped audibly. "Are you truly amused currently?" Grandma coughed deliberately. "You know, I pondered the same. Since when do marriages include bills for your sibling?" Mia's exhibited nothing but poise. Explosion. It was as if the whole space released breath simultaneously. My uncle agreed. Frankly, it's overdue for someone to state it. And suddenly the barriers collapsed. Folks began expressing what they'd obviously suppressed. "Tia, you shamed yourself." Mia managed it elegantly. "You informed everyone you merited a home." Who utters that? Even your event coordinator mentioned you were impolite. Tia rose suddenly. Her seat scraped so intensely it alarmed the infant nearby. Incredible. So now I'm the antagonist. I'm the newlywed and I face assault at a kin meal. She stared at me. "I trust you're content. You achieved your goal. I lacked opportunity to reply before Grandma ended it. Sufficient. You desired a marriage spectacle. You received a spectacle. But don't fault the viewers for identifying the jester. Reactions, astonished, quiet. Then some throat clears to conceal chuckles. Tia exited furiously. Her spouse trailed, timidly. Nobody attempted to halt them. As Tia exited the gathering furiously, the patio door closed so forcefully it shook the beverage containers. Her spouse followed, but not prior to casting me a quick glance, not hostile, not regretful, more like mortified. All simply remained, motionless, quiet. Then Grandma, composed as usual, lifted her cup of chilled beverage, took a prolonged drink, and remarked. She was never instructed to accept denial. It dissolved the strain immediately. Some folks laughed uneasily, others adjusted positions. Then the murmurs started. I always believed Mia managed it overly elegantly, stated Aunt Rebecca. She didn't even update anything. It was Tia's own words that caused her issues. Uncle Mark contributed. The largest shock originated from my mother. She hadn't uttered anything all day. She'd sat rigidly beside Grandma, limbs folded, expression blank. But now she exhaled. I attempted to nurture them both fairly. I truly did, but I recognize it now. We indulged her. We permitted her to address people as if they were indebted to her. All were astonished. Even I was astonished. She faced me, gaze gentle. I'm sorry, Mia. I didn't support you. I ought to have. That regret publicly was more startling than all Tia had committed. I didn't know what to express, so I affirmed. Silently, I didn't require a theatrical reunion. I didn't need emotions or embraces. Just that recognition, that sufficed. Later that night, I assisted Grandma tidy up after majority of visitors departed. As we stored the remnants and cleaned plates, she gazed at me and remarked, "You didn't forfeit a sibling today." She forfeited a reflection. I didn't answer. I didn't need to, but I comprehended precisely what she implied. Tia hadn't merely destroyed connections. She had saturated the entire kin in fuel and ignited a flame anticipating cheers. Instead, she departed her own dreamlike ceremony and abandoned a group of individuals who no longer regarded her as the ideal offspring. And me, I was simply liberated. No further remorse. No additional kin demands. No more but she's your sibling speeches. Just tranquility. And for the initial occasion in ages, I truly sensed like someone perceived me. Not as a purse, not as the secondary child, but as an individual who had silently endured sufficient and ultimately declared enough.